Coming up next, I'll give you some things to do if you feel hopeless in the job search and the one thing you will never regret. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it starts right now. I'm coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. This show is all about your purpose. You were created to contribute. You were created to fill a specific role in the workplace. That means you are needed, and it means you must do it. So we're here to help you figure out what that is. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. Now, before we dive in, I've got to address my voice today. I've had multiple people say, you okay? You feeling all right? And the answer is, I feel fantastic. It's not allergies. It's Thursday night football. That's what it is. Now, Bob is filling in for Joe today. Joe is helping his mom today. And Nathan, I don't know if you noticed it. Bob's not in here every day. Bob produces the Chris Hogan Show, part of the Ramsey Network. But did you notice how the voice sounds a little different today? Yeah.
Yeah, we noticed.
Yeah, so...
but it sounds good.
Well, thank you, Bob. The constant encourager. But Madison, I don't know if you noticed that it was a little different today. And so it's because big football game last night. We have storms coming in the middle Tennessee area as a result of Hurricane Laura, I believe is the name. And so they moved the schedule up. And I'm sitting next to a dear friend who leads a bunch of initiatives here at Ramsey Solutions. His name's Jeremy Breland. His son and my son, they play on the same football team. And so we're in this battle last night, Bob. And Madison, it's about the third quarter. And I'm yelling like crazy. I mean, we're coming back. We're fired up. You know, we're really the underdog in this. And the boys it's looking like we got the mo. And I'm yelling every play, come on, D, the whole dad thing, right now, let's go, get a push. And I look at Jeremy and I go, probably should stop. I got to do 2 hours of my show tomorrow, and I'm co-hosting the Dave Ramsey Show later this afternoon with Chris Hogan. And I may not have a voice. And so it's a little scratchy today. And so I did stop in the middle of the third quarter. So full disclosure there. I feel fine. But nonetheless, it happens this time of year. Okay? I got a little excited. By the way, for those of you who care, we won the game. We came from behind, won the game. 26-21.
Nice.
So anyway, bear with my voice today because we're going to get about the business of helping you be you. How to stay positive during the job search. I feel like we're getting more and more of these phone calls, and it's not a surprise to me. In fact, I remember when the COVID suppression hit and we saw the unemployment numbers explode, I really began to just feel a tremendous amount of empathy for all the people that were being affected by this. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is going to be tough because it's already tough in the best of times when you lose a job. I would put it up there as outside of the loss of a loved one or friend and a physical debilitating challenge. I'd put it up there, number 3 behind those two, as the most traumatic things that happened to us in our life. I guess you could throw a breakup or something like that. That's pretty bad. So I begin to think, oh man, this is going to be tough because it's already a real loss and a real sting. But now to get back up on the horse, to get back in, it's going to be harder in these times. And so we've gotten a lot of these phone calls. And so today I just wanted to address 3 actions. I mean, there's several things you could do. I could talk for an hour about, what do you do if you feel hopeless in the job search because you're just not getting anywhere? Okay, we talk about a lot of tactics on this show. Our Get Hired digital course, it's only $20 at kencoleman.com. We go deep in the weeds. I'm not going to go deep. I'm just going to give you 3 things that I think are pillars, if you will, that keep you going when you feel like you're stuck in the mud. And here they are real quick. Number 1, you got to realize that this is your situation, not your sentence. This is your situation. By the way, you're not alone. You're not a loser. You're not a deadbeat. This is your situation based on a global pandemic that put an artificial suppression on the economy, and you've been caught up in this. By the way, just a little nugget. If you were laid off or if you've lost your job, it had nothing to do with COVID. Even if you did something wrong, hey, listen, this is the mindset. This is your situation, not your sentence. You're not sentenced to a life of frustration and misery and all the things that come with the emotions of losing your job. This is your situation, not your sentence. So get up, get your head up. All right, I got to respond. I got to make some changes. I got to get after it, but I'm not sentenced to this current environment and situation. Number 2, focus forward. You got to focus forward. I'm okay with some glances back to look at what can we learn from where I was? What can I take from that? But you got to focus forward. If you are always focused on the past, you can't move forward. It's impossible. If I want to go this way, this direction, and yet my entire focus of my body and my head and everything is this way, I'm not going to be effective in going that way. I'm just not. I may back up a little bit, but I'm eventually going to stumble. I'm going to run into stuff because I can't see where I'm going. And a lot of you are effectively trying to walk backwards quickly. Makes no sense. Focus forward. Get your eyes up. Focus forward. And then the third action, you've got to realize that connections are the keys that unlock opportunities. Don't overthink this. See, that's our problem. When we get in times of uncertainty, it can quickly go to desperation. And then we get really freaked out. And it's like, oh my gosh, I got so many things to do. I don't even know where to go. What do I do? Oh my goodness, I have no idea what to do. And we just stay paralyzed. As opposed to going, hey, the way out of this, the way forward, the way up is connections. So if it's not working, I need to keep connecting. There's your phrase. If it's not working, keep connecting. You keep connecting and keep connecting and keep connecting and keep connecting and keep connecting. And eventually, the dam will break and opportunities flow freely. So, quick review. You feel a sense of hopelessness. You're stuck in the job search. 3 big actions that will spur a lot of smaller actions that'll get you the breakthrough. 1, realize this is your situation, not a sentence. 2, focus forward. 3, realize the connections are the keys to unlocking opportunities. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Greenfield, Missouri. Adam joins us there. Adam, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. How can I help today, Adam?
Yeah, I've been self-employed for the past 7 years, up until about a year ago, and I did a pretty good business. And after having to quit my business, I feel like trying to get into a role that suits my talents and capabilities is kind of hard, based on the fact that I don't really have a lot of, third-party references since I've worked for myself for so long, to help me kind of get back into the workforce. Nobody, potential employer could verify my, I guess, character and skills that way.
Well, okay, I hear you, and I don't disagree with the factual statement you made there, but that's a limiting belief there, and you're limiting yourself to say, well, I don't have a bunch of references, so I'm going to really struggle. You're already setting up a big, big wall that you think it's going to be very hard to break through, and I don't think it's a wall at all. I think it's I'm going to have to get around this, and how do I get around that very issue? And the answer is, for 7 years, you ran your company, so it was successful enough that it sustained you for 7 years. True or false?
True.
You also had some clients that you served over 7 years. True or false?
True.
I'm guessing those clients that you served, there were some that they were raving fans of your work. True or false?
true.
Okay. You think they might be some strong references and character references and just competency references as well?
Yes, and I've actually included those on my current resume.
Great. Great. And don't you think it might be impressive that you ran your own business for 7 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I do.
Why'd you quit the business?
It became financially insolvent ultimately.
Okay.
So,
well, what'd you learn from that? Give me 2 lessons you learned from having to shut your company down.
Well, I guess I've learned that you can't dig yourself out of a hole by digging it deeper.
Okay.
And I mean, I've learned a lot about problem solving and trusting in myself to be able to get things done.
All right, so right there, that's what I was looking for right there. So now that becomes an asset to somebody who wants to hire you, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
That you know how to solve problems. Now, what kind of problems are you really good at solving?
I feel like I'm probably best in like high stress situations because I was forced to deal with a lot of those in my business.
Right, but are those people problems? Are they system problems? Are they thing problems?
All of the above.
Great.
Since it's a relatively small business, I've kind of had to deal with all facets.
Great. What
all
kind of
facets of it?
Great. What kind of position do you want? Now you're going to go work for somebody else. What's the position? Give me the ideal situation. And I don't care about title. Just what are you doing?
Management or possibly sales.
Great. Have you got extensive experience in management and sales over the last 7 years working for yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So we've covered this. So this is about how many people you know as well. How many people do you know in your area? Just give me a ballpark number.
Well, whenever I closed my business, I sent letters out to about 200 customers.
Okay, but that's more than 200 customers. Give me a ballpark idea how many people you know in Greenfield, Missouri, just in your area. Not even including around the country or around the world. How many people you know in your area? Ballpark.
Oh, I mean, probably just 20 or 30. I mean, that's a pretty rural community.
Okay, so you got 200 customers and you know 20 or 30 people in your area. Okay, and so if you're in a small town, rural town, which I didn't know until 10 seconds ago, you've got a small universe of companies, correct?
Yes, sir.
That you're looking at. So I don't know how you don't know everybody in that town. Between the 20, 30 people you know, you can get to anybody in that town, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they probably know of your business or at least heard of it, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. So I don't think you need to be worried about your resume. You need to be finding opportunities, man, and making connections. This is not about the resume. And I've said this 100 times. It bears repeating again right now. Your resume, even the Ken Coleman Show, beautiful, fabulous, very effective resume that we have at kencoleman.com. It's free, by the way. That resume is worthless without a relationship attached to it. You go, wait a second, Ken, are you telling me that you can't get a job just by submitting a resume? No, I didn't say that. Well, that's the lottery, though. So how valuable are most lottery tickets? They're not. You got the 1 in a billion that pays. You want to play that game? Great. I'm not doing that. I don't like the odds. So when I say that a resume is worthless without a relationship, I'm telling you, you're playing crazy odds if you're not trying to make a connection to another connection, to another connection, to another connection, however many you need to where you are setting yourself apart by pulling yourself out of the pile of resumes that are submitted online or in person. I get that there's not many physical stacks anymore, but it presents a wonderful illustration. You got to stand out, and connections are how you do it. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Zach now in Statesville, North Carolina. Zach, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm living the dream, Zach. What's up?
trying to figure out which dream I want to live so that I can live it.
Oh, I like these calls. I like these calls. How many are we choosing from?
I'm trying to choose between two. I'm like equally passionate about both of them, and I have no idea which one to choose because I've pro-conned each one, and there's pros and cons of each one, and I don't know which one's the better option.
Even after doing the pros and cons?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, you're putting me in a spot here. Now, this is tough. Now I'm up against the wall. So this is going to be interesting. So here we go. But the only way this is going to work, Zach, is if you got to really try hard to not let your brain speak. You got to have your heart speaking to me in the next few minutes. You got it? Mm-hmm. All right. So we've got two things. Tell me the two things. I know you've done pros and cons, so I'm not going to necessarily walk you through that because you still don't have a clear winner so far. So what are the two things you're choosing between?
One is technically my current job, which is I'm an over-the-road truck driver. Specifically, I would be looking at buying my own truck and switching the type of freight that I haul.
Okay, so essentially,
work on power lines.
Hold on one second. Hold on. I'm sorry. I got to make sure I understand this. So the one dream, option A, is you are buying your own truck, and you're essentially an independent contractor, and you would change whatever you're hauling, I guess at your whim, but you would own your own truck, so you work for yourself. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood it. Okay, what's the second thing?
And the second thing would be going back to school for a brief 3-month thing and learning how to work on power lines. That way I could be at home a little more often.
Ah, okay. And when you do the pros and cons, you're telling me there are equal pros on the truck and the power line worker? There's equal pros and equal cons?
In a nutshell, I guess that would be accurate. Like, there's different pros and cons to each respective field, but they even themselves out to where it makes it hard for me to decipher which one has the better pros and cons for me to make a decision on the career. Which
work, whether you're working on a power line or you're driving a truck, are you telling me that there's not a clear winner in the actual work itself? Let's take out everything else and just go the actual work. Which one of those two do you enjoy doing more? Hello.
But that's where I come into the challenge, because that's why I say I'm equally passionate about both of them. I love my job right now, driving trucks, traveling the country. I love doing flatbed work, which is what I want to do if I keep doing this. But at the same time, I'm also a very skilled electrician, and that's where I got interested in power lines. And I believe that I would be cut out for the really hard labor they do, because I don't have problems with weather when I have to be in it. I don't have to worry.
I got the answer. I think I got an answer, but before I tell you, I just want to check the control room, because they've been listening to the show for a long time. Nathan, you got a smile on your face. I don't want you to say what it is, but do you think there's a clear difference between how he answered those?
Yeah,
I do too. I think you love the truck driving way more. I don't even think it's even close. But I think that what's really hanging you up on this is you love your family even more than the truck, which of course you should. And I think you go, good gravy, I love the flatbed. See, let me just, okay, I can't wait any longer. I'm trying to drag this out so he gets there, but I'm just going to tell you what I heard. When I asked you which one you loved, you paused for a second, and then you did the one thing I told you not to do, and you started thinking instead of feeling. All right? That's what you did. And then I pushed you. I said, hello? And then you snapped out of your brain, and then you said, well, I really love the flatbed trucking. I really love it. You said it exactly kind of like that. And then when you talked about power lines, you went from love to pretty skilled at it, and I've got the work ethic to do it. It was a completely different conversation. It was like, hey, it was like if one of my boys comes to his dad, I like two girls. I've got two girls that I like the same. I got to ask one to the prom. But Dad, you got to help me decide. I like them both the same. And so then I get him talking about each girl. And without fail, Bob, when he talks about each girl, one of the girls, it's a different feel. And that's what you did about the truck. You're like, yeah, man, she's really pretty, man. I love being around her. Man, she's awesome. Love it. I don't know the other one. Boy, I tell you what, she could be wife material. Really fantastic girl. Great with her grades. Parents like her. The very different feel there. Did you feel that, Zach?
Yeah, I actually did, and that's why I called the show, as I knew if anybody could point something like that out that I was missing, it'd probably be you.
Well, brother, it was just as clear as it could be, and it wasn't just me. Nathan heard it too. That's why he's smiling. Madison's on the other line. She didn't hear it. But I'm telling you, anybody who's been listening to the show for a while heard the difference. It was as clear as a bell. So what you got to reconcile is, how do I do the thing I love and be with those that I love as much as I want to be? And I think that's the challenge. I don't think there's a wrong choice here. I think you could really enjoy the power line. I didn't hear any kind of false narrative there, but I do know that there's a very clear difference. And my job is to just be the mirror for you. So the love meter is off the charts for being in a truck. I think you love the open road. I think you like all of that's there. And I think you enjoy the power line side of things, but you can't discount the family thing. So my question is, how do you get, and this is an actual question I have for you because I don't know the answer. How do you get the work? How do you do the work rather of the trucking?
On the power lines? Or
no. Don't, hey, stop. You got to let me finish. How do you do the work that you love of driving the truck without being gone for days at a time? Is there a local, more regional route, if you understand what I'm saying? Or if you're driving and delivering stuff locally, does that fire the pistons? That's what I'm trying to understand.
I do have local options. I could do something local to my state. I could do a regional route that gets me home a little more often, but still keeps me out a few days at a time. Or I even thought part of the reason I want to go independent, I could set my schedule to where I just run hard for 3 weeks and then I go ahead and stay home for 1 week. And then possibly even just take off the month of July if I do my budget properly. Well,
that's an option. How would that make your heart feel with this family thing?
I think it'd make it feel good because that'd give me a week out of every month with my kids, and then a month off with the whole family, go do some vacation and stuff.
Well, there you go, brother. We just found our solution. I think it's either the local, regional route, you know what I mean, where you're delivering stuff, and you're working for yourself. Maybe you're delivering all local routes and you're home at 6 o'clock every night. I think you got to look into that, and it looks like you've started to. But if you enjoy driving the truck and running your own business, and can you get some clients where you're doing a lot of local stuff in a 60 to 90 mile radius? So that's a good full day, but you're home eating dinner, bathing the kids, story time. I would at least look into that. There's nothing to lose. So I think we got a clear answer. If you choose power lines, I don't think it's a bad choice, and I'll tell you why. Because you're going to be home with the family more and you're doing something you really enjoy. But I would make sure you really enjoy it so that if you walk away from the thing you love, we don't have this big gap. And maybe you jump back into trucking later on when the kids are gone. So I think you got two great options, and it's your choice, not mine. Appreciate the call. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Marquita here in the chat room. She says, how do I start pursuing my dream job while also being consistent in my day job? This is all about discipline. And I love the question, and you're acknowledging where the tension is. There's some rub there, because you're going, okay, I see the dream. I'm excited about it. I want to start pursuing it. But, oh gosh, I can't go full on. That's what we always want to do. And we got this day job, which we absolutely need. And it's vital that we keep it in order to keep us going on the dream. So, this is all about discipline, okay? So what you've got to do is say, look, let's start with the day job. What is expected of me? What's a win look like in the day job? I must crush that first. I cannot let the day job hinder I can't let the dream job hinder the day job, or else we put ourselves in a tough situation. So this is pretty simple when it comes to discipline. My priorities are, I must win in the day job. And when that time is done, think of it as like the old school whistle, whoo, and everybody piles out of the factory. Hey, that's the focus. I'm all in on the day job. When the whistle blows, now my mind begins to move towards the dream job. And whatever that looks like, however many hours a week, weekends, late nights, early mornings, whatever, you must also carve that out and go right now in my reality, relationally, my actual schedule, my responsibilities, if you will, and financial resources say that I can do this much. And so that's what I do. And I say, I'm carving that out just like I carve everything else out. And so that's how you start. You start small and you just keep attacking it. And it's the idea of the drip, don't underestimate the drip. It's amazing how powerful a simple drip of water is. Over and over and over can just hollow out the largest and the strongest of rocks. So there's a little inspiring moment for you. You start to get frustrated. Gee whiz, I'm not making much progress. Just ask yourself, am I dripping? And if you're dripping, keep on dripping. And before you know it, you're not dripping, you're gushing. And it is the drip, right, that starts it. You see that the water pressure starts out with a little bit of leak, and then that water pressure starts hollowing out. Before you know it, boom. So embrace the drip. Let's see here. Dan writes in, my employer promised me a promotion that I really want. However, it has been put on hold due to COVID. How long should I wait around for the promotion? They keep saying it is going to happen, but it is on hold. Do you believe them, Dan? I think this becomes the issue in your question. I mean, it's really not about my opinion. Because here's the deal. If you believe them, then calm yourself, man. Chill out. Welcome to life. Perseverance is the sexy word we love to make the hero in movies and books, and it is. Perseverance is wonderful. But I can tell you this, folks, there is no perseverance without patience. It is patience that is the real hero. Perseverance gets all the glory. It's kind of like in the 4x100 meters, Bob, it's one of my favorite events in the Olympics. And the anchor gets all the glory. Anchor gets the glory, right? They get the baton, and it's the end of the race, and we all go, woohoo! And the anchor triumphantly crosses the finish line. The anchor gets all the glory, but the reality is that every one of those other people have just as much in that, you know what I mean? Even if they were behind. The point is that perseverance gets all the glory, but it is patience that really keeps us in the race. That's the point. So be patient. If, Dan, you believe them. If you do not believe them and you think they're stringing you along with the proverbial carrot on a stick, then leave once you find something. It's pretty simple stuff. Dean R. writes in, how do you avoid unproductive daydreaming? Now, this is fun. I don't have time to unpack this. This is a good idea for another show. I've been reading a lot about daydreaming. And here's what's funny. I wish it was a phone call. In fact, Dan, if you're watching right now and you want to call in, we'll unpack this right now. But daydreaming is not the inherent evil that our society has made it out to be. In fact, daydreaming, if done almost on purpose, is actually a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful asset. Here's why. It is when we daydream that the brain actually goes into a different place. And I don't have time to unpack this in great detail, so I'm just going to cut through all the details, the science, because I like to nerd out on this stuff sometimes. But when we daydream, here's what's happening. We're kind of relaxing, and our brain is relaxing, and we're kind of just allowing our brain to kind of meander around. And that's where the great ideas come from. That's where the great ideas come from. It's the same thing that when some of you get the ideas on the lawnmower, some of you get them in the shower. I get them behind the wheel of a car. When I'm on long road trips, man, and I'm just kind of staring out, and I'm daydreaming. I'm not engaged in work. I'm not strategizing. I'm not even trying to brainstorm on purpose. I'm on the open road and I'm allowing my brain to just do what it does. And the subconscious takes over. And that's where the wonderful thoughts come from. So I would say, how do you avoid unproductive daydreaming? To that question, I would say, be more productive in your daydreaming. Find some boring, methodical activity in your day, like driving the car, or you're standing in the shower and you're just kind of going through the motions. You've washed yourself 8 billion times in your life and your brain's on autopilot. That's where the daydreaming actually happens. So if you're daydreaming all day long, that's unproductive. That's a problem. But I would look at your rhythms. How long is this unproductive daydreaming? Is it just happening in 5-minute spurts when you're doing kind of methodical things at work? I would embrace that, actually. I would embrace it. The more methodical things we can do, just walking, getting out of the office and walk for 10 minutes. And don't think about work. Just let your brain do its thing. I think really good things happen there. And so to the rest of you, I would tell you to look that up. The science behind daydreaming, you can Google that. That'd probably get you there. There's a lot of great stuff out there. So there you go. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. It's toll free. 844-747-2577. Real quick reminder, we've got some incredible resources at my website, kencoleman.com, and they're cheap. Our Proximity Principle book, the #1 Wall Street Journal bestselling book, that is the guide up the mountain. So for those of you who know which mountain you want to climb, you know the dream, you're just not sure how to get there, I wrote that book for you. And now we've got it at an incredible price. It launched about a year and 2 months ago at a $20 price point. We've got all 3 formats, the hard copy with my autograph in it, the ebook, and the audiobook read to you by me. All 3 books, all formats, one price of $25. And our Foundations self-study, which is called the Foundations in Career Readiness. This is an online course for young people aged 13 to 19, whether they're trying to find that first job or the summer job, or how do I get to the dream job? It's specifically designed for the youngster, 13 to 19. It's only $30, and it's a $90 product. We've discounted it to $30. KenColeman.com/store for that and the book. So there you go. All right, let's go. Who do we got next? I'm looking for, there we go. Oh, thank you very much. All right, we're going to Dan in Fort Lauderdale. Dan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, glad to be here.
Good to be talking with you. Oh, this is from the chat.
Yes, from the chat.
Oh, we just talked about this. This is great. So I got to know, Dan. All right, so
yes, sir.
if you were watching, I just talked to Dan in the chat, and he was watching, and he called. And so do you trust these people, or do you think they're stringing you along with this promotion?
I believe in them. However, I don't believe in their timeline.
Tell me more. What gives you any kind of evidence? I want more. I want facts, not feelings. What? And it's not that I don't believe you. It's just it's my job to be your sounding board. You understand that? I'm on Team Dan.
Yes, sir.
What facts do you have that make you distrust their timeline?
I'm currently a general manager of a hotel in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area. The company that I'm moving for manages companies. That's how they picked me up. But when I'm moving me to the corporate office to help manage and oversee other hotels and do training and operations for them. But the facts what makes me doubt that it's going to happen anytime soon is they keep promising me they're going to find somebody to replace me. They can't move me there until they replace me here at the hotel.
Ah, got it.
So, and every time I question them about it, it's more of, if I could do it, I would do it right now, but we can't because of COVID. If there's my choice, I could do it right now. But every time I ask them, it keeps getting a different idea of why we can't do it now, this second.
So if you don't mind, I want to push back against what you told me. I don't think you trust them, because what you said was, I believe them that they want to promote me, but I don't believe their timeline. But now that you say it the way you said it, I'm not sure you believe them at all. Am I right, or what am I missing?
My gut says it's going to happen. My brain says it's not.
Okay.
So I'm sort of torn between those two things.
Well, I would trust the gut. In fact, I've talked about this on the show before, but the neuroscience has done some amazing studies. And they put heart monitors on world-class chess players. Okay? And they wanted to monitor this idea. They wanted to figure out, does our body warn us before we make a bad decision? And they found out unequivocally yes. And I'm going to cut through all of the study and give it to you this way. Every time one of these world-class chess players made a move that hurt them in the match, their heart rate spiked. Every time. Now, these are brilliant people. Brilliant. All right, you would agree with this, right, Dan?
Yes.
And so they're about ready to make a move, and their heart rate would spike. And they went back and looked, and every time these folks made a move that they ended up hurting them, their heart rate spiked. And you know what the conclusion was? This idea that the gut feeling is this mysterious, ethereal thing that humans kind of try to concoct is actually our logic. It's actually our deep brain. And again, I'm cutting through all the details here. What they found is that it's our subconscious brain. So we all go, well, then my brain is, and by the way, Dan, I'm not getting on you. It's just, I've been there. We all are. We go, well, my brain is telling me one thing, my gut's telling me another. And it's actually your brain, not your gut. It is your subconscious protecting you. And it's going, whoa, don't make that move. Or you really should do this. Your brain's telling you that you're gonna get in trouble, but your gut's going, you can do this. You can pull this off. It's your subconscious. It's why a kid eventually jumps off of the edge of the pool into mommy or daddy's arms. You do realize that, right? Because their brain's going,
yes.
If I jump, I'm gonna drown, daddy. And then eventually the kid's gut says, all right, I'm going for it. I'm gonna take a chance. No, that's the subconscious going, you're actually safe. Jump. So in this situation, I'm really going to trust your gut. And I think what you have to do is now start to help them help you. If the real answer is, and I believe it is, that they've got to find somebody before they can move you, you need to help them find somebody. Okay?
Okay.
But listen, if it's more that they're unwilling to hire right now because COVID has suppressed your industry tremendously, then you got to wait it out a little bit, trust your gut, and dig a little bit more. So based on everything you've told me, you're not giving me any evidence to not trust these folks. They may be giving you different ideas as to why they're not able to replace you yet. But that could be them just trying to keep you, from getting frustrated. And I think it's about time for you to go, hey guys, listen, I keep getting different answers. And I'm in. I just psychologically, I just need to know that eventually this is going to happen. I just need to know it, guys, and I'll be a good soldier. I believe that's a lot of what it is. I know that's what it is. That's why I'm telling you to do it. You're a human. Bro? Okay. So listen, I think let them off the hook. Let them off the hook.
Okay.
Say, guys, listen, I'm a human being. I'm starting to have doubts. I don't have doubts. I want the position. Can I help you fill it? And if it's no, we can't make the budgetary commitment right now, I'm in. Tell me what has to be true to where this is a no-brainer, and then I'll be patient. And I think you just trust your gut through this process. And I just believe in the gut because you're a smart guy. And listen to your body is the point. Listen to that feel. You've been there before, Bob. Nathan, you've been there. We just get a feeling, right? We go, I just, my brain's kind of going this, and this, and then, but I just got a feeling this is what I'm supposed to do. That's your subconscious. Trust it. And here's why I'm so confident in saying that. Remember what I'm getting at here. We've already done all the logic. The logic is there to protect us. So if the gut's going, I think I should do it. I think I should wait a little longer. Then do it. Don't overthink it. That's when we get in big See, I believe, I'm just going to be honest with you, I think the God of the universe is so brilliant in that he's given us that gut feeling. I think that's his gift to us. I'm just going to tell you that. And by the way, for those of you who you don't believe in God, whatever, that's fine, because I've already backed it up with science. So you can choose science. I'm going to take God, because God created us, thus science exists. So, okay, that's cool. We won't argue. But I really believe that. Because God, in his majesty and his brilliance, it's like we got this brain that he's given us this supercomputer up here, right, to use for logic. And then he was like, there'll be times when they're going to confront some stuff and the brain's going to actually lock them up. I got to give them this gut. I got to take them deep, deep, deep into their subconscious. They think it's their gut. It's actually the supercomputer I gave them. And I'm going to give them the nudge. That's good. So you got to trust the gut. If we had more men and women making gut decisions, I think this world would be a much better place. Woo, that's a whole nother can right there. But you got to trust that inner voice. That's what that is. You got the greatest decision-making computer in the world. And when you get that feeling, trust the feeling. My time is almost up. But before I let you go, you matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.